troubled and disturbed by what I heard from the senator previously. I'm not even going to go down the road of the reasoning fallacies we just listened to, but I will say that to talk about this like it's a credible reality and to use the argument that there's disagreement in the research community is along the same lines as disagreeing that climate change is real or that vaccines cause autism. I don't understand our willful disregard for science over and over and over again because it doesn't fit our political narrative. I am truly disgusted that we have to have this conversation, that we think it's okay to put people on the spot and to compare this in any way to the discussion we just had. The premises aren't the same. It's irresponsible to suggest that. I am so personally frustrated and feel for the folks that have been put into a bad spot, especially young people who couldn't make that choice because their parents forced it or because of social norms. I just can't even begin to have that discussion. I would really sincerely hope that we would accept Senator Dibble's amendment. It is so clear in the evidence. Even just looking it up right now, if you Google it, and then look and Google what pseudoscience means, about how there's just zero evidence anywhere that shows it's effective, but evidence that does show how harmful it is. It's just unconscionable to me that not only are we having to have this discussion, but that we have to convince people of how bad it is when the evidence is so clear about how bad it is. I don't know what to say about that. I'm just very disappointed. And with all due respect, I get that we can have differing opinions, and I want to be respectful of that. But, you know, as it was once famously stated, you can have the right to your own opinions, but you don't get the right to your own facts. Facts are facts. Science is clear. And I don't know what else to say about that. And I'm not going to conflate this with another argument to try to improve my point when I simply can rest on the reality of what the science tells us. It's very clear. This is a destructive thing that happens that ruins young people's lives and puts them into a bad place by somehow insinuating that they're somehow not good or perfect just the way they are. And it takes homophobic parents and puts them in a spot where they think they're going to, quote unquote, fix their kid when their kid doesn't need any fixing. Their kid is just fine wherever they are. And this idea that there's something wrong with that, when 40-some years ago, the science community was clear about how we would designate or think about homosexuality and did not have any stigmas applied to it any longer because it was not a disorder. And so this concept of these therapies being somehow beneficial or that there should be a discussion, let's be clear about this. Let's be clear about what the argument was. The argument was they should have the right to talk about what they want to talk about. Well, you can go to any counselor and do that. You can have that conversation. That's not what this is about. So to conflate that moment of the right to go to a counselor somehow not being okay with the reality of a young person being forced to go to a counselor who explicitly advertises that they're able to convert people back from being gay to being straight. And you know what? Even if it isn't disrespect, saying something is abnormal when it's a part of our society like that is in itself disrespectful to those folks. And I just really bristle at that. So I'm just really disappointed we have to have this discussion. I really want to thank Senator Dibble for sharing this amendment, and I hope that we can get this across the finish line and move on to some other stuff. Thank you.
Further discussion on the amendment.